Hello everybody, ManishCap1 here. Today I am very happy to be bringing you a proxy guide for Singed, but also for any champion that is able to proxy. Proxying is an essential skill for Singed, but also for many top laners, and I will be explaining to you guys today what the benefits are, what the negatives are, how to do it, when to do it, and how to properly execute the entire strategy. What exactly is proxy farming? Proxy farming is exactly what you see here, where you walk behind the enemy turret and you farm minions while the enemy top laner is forced to struggle underneath their turret for last hits. And the obvious benefit of this is that you will be able to gain perfect CS while the enemy loses minions to last hits, and then you're going to be drawing a lot of pressure as well. The enemy is forced to think about where exactly you are, and you can then recall and come back to your lane while the enemy top laner is still underneath their turret, gaining an item advantage, a tempo advantage, and a resource advantage from your mana and your health bar. As far as your runes go for proxying on Singed, you can use any rune page that you want. The hard requirements, in my opinion, if you are going to be playing a more proxy-oriented playstyle, is that you do have the celerity rune in either primary or secondary from sorcery, and that you also take the movement speed rune. Now, the benefit of having movement speed rune and celerity is that you can run around the jungle and the river a bit faster and more consistently find your proxy and just kind of maneuver around the map a little bit more efficiently. The downside of having movement speed shard, though, is that you do lose that early game AP from adaptive force, so your wave clear is a bit slower, which can actually hinder your push if you are knocked off of your tempo. But because you are watching this guide, we'll be discussing how to maintain your tempo. So you can use a standard Conqueror setup like this with celerity and movement speed shard. You could also use the spellbook setup, again, with celerity and movement speed shard here secondary, or you could just use the phaser setup with the celerity and movement speed shard setup. Now, your summoner spell choice does matter when it comes to proxying and just Singed in general, and this is a very quick rundown of your typically two different summoner spell choices. So I'll start with the right side. We do have Ghost plus Flash, so this is going to be your most typical, most standard Singed summoner spell setup. The pros for this setup are that you have the highest possible mobility for your mid to late game team fights. One of the other benefits that you have is in the early game, you can proxy, recall, and then return to lane without needing teleport, so Singed in particular is quite good at using Ghost Flash. The cons are that you can become trapped in your lane, unfortunately, if the enemy top is able to stop your proxy, because what can happen is you can be shoved under your turret, unable to find your proxy. And then because you have no sustain on Singed, you are not able to lane for a very extended period of time. You'll eventually get poked and then towered over and killed, without having teleport to be able to reset and come back to your lane with extra resources. And also in the very late game, it is harder to cross map, meaning that it's harder to be farther away from your team, because without teleport, you can sometimes lack the ability to join your team. This is not as much of an issue in Season 16 because you do get the free teleport from the top lane role quest. However, it is a very long cooldown, so bear in mind that it will generally be easier to cross map with the other option. The other option being teleport plus ghost, which is the most scaling oriented setup on Singed. The pros of this setup are that it lets you reset your lane in the early game if things go south, which is quite nice. You don't become trapped in your lane like you can with Ghost and Flash. You have really, really good macro and cross map potential in the late game. So what this means is that you can be farther away from your team in the late game. Like if your team's on the bottom side of the map and you're on the top side of the map, and they're hovering around Dragon, and you eventually want to, take a wave and TP down, you can do that, and you can get more experience, you can get more items, you can stop the enemy top laner from split pushing, which is the next point, is that this setup is good versus split pushers as well, because you're able to use the teleport to join your team when you need to. You can actually even proxy in the late game and farm behind the enemy split pusher and then teleport to your team, which just slows their push down a lot and makes it harder for them to take your turrets in the side lane, which is very, very nice, very good. And the cons are that you do have a lot lower mobility. I won't say a lot, but you do have noticeably lower mobility in mid and late game team fights without having access to both Ghost and Flash at the same time. So you are more reliant on your singular Ghost cooldown, or if you go TP Flash, your singular Flash cooldown for mobility, but overall your macro is better. For Singed, the way that I generally decide my summoner spells in a game is if the enemy team has 3 or more ranged champions, I'll go Ghost Flash. If they have 3 or more melee champions, I'll go TP Ghost. Or if it's a matchup where one specific setup is going to excel a lot more, then I'll just go for that setup instead. As far as your items for proxying go, these are going to be very early game focused items, and I will discuss full builds in a different video for a overall singed guide. But in your early game when you are proxying, which is the time that you should be proxying, your itemization does matter quite a bit. So we look at two different things primarily in terms of proxying. We look at movement speed, we look at wave clear. You can also consider health to be an option. The thing about HP is that while you do live longer, your wave clear is lower, and when you're proxying, you really want to make sure that those minions just die because you're already at a risk being behind the enemy turret. So the absolute, in my opinion, best item for proxying in the entire game, in the early game, is going to be Boots of Swiftness. If you can get this item, you can get your proxy a lot easier. The only requirement outside of Boots of Swiftness is that you do have some wave clear, right? So Boots of Swiftness plus, let's say, like an Amp Tome could be potentially very good, because then you have, hey, movement speed and a little bit of wave clear. What's even better than that is you go Boots of Swiftness plus, let's say, a Faded Ashes, right? Then all of a sudden you have a lot of wave clear and a lot of movement speed. The downside is a lot of the time Faded Ashes is not always the best first item, because it can build in Leandres, and Leandres is not always the best first item, right? So another option outside of Boots of Swiftness plus Faded Ashes is actually going to be Boots of Swiftness plus Blasting Wand. Now, Blasting Wand is built into Rylez, which is a very solid first item option into most matchups, I will say. And so having this specific combination of items will give you a great combination of movement speed plus wave clear. Now, instead of going Blasting Wand plus Amp Tome, what you generally should do, in my opinion, is go Blasting Wand plus Ruby Crystal, and then Blasting Wand into the Giant's Belt. Because what that's going to do, what these three items will do right here, is give you a really good combination of survivability from your Giant's Belt, wave clear from Blasting Wand, and movement speed to get around the corners and the jungle with your Boots of Swiftness. Now, you can also just replace generically your Boots of Swiftness with any other tier 2 boot that you need depending on the game. Like if they have, let's say, a Yasuo top lane and then Talon mid lane, and then they have a Caitlyn 80 carry, well, maybe you want to go Steel Caps, maybe you want to buy Ninja Tabby, right? You can do that. You're going to be a bit slower than Swiftness, but you're still going to have more movement speed than base boots. Base boots is 25 movement speed, and tier 2 is 45, and then Swifties is 55, right? So you do kind of want to tend to buy your boots depending on the game state, the enemy team comp, your team comp, things like that, right? But use your better judgment, you'll be able to figure it out, in my opinion. As long as you have that correct combination of your early game stats of movement speed, wave clear, and a little bit of HP, you will be good to go. So let's talk about matchups for proxying Singed. This is not a tier list based on how difficult a matchup is. This is a tier list based on how easy it is to proxy in the matchup. That being said, generally, most matchups where it is harder for you to proxy will be a harder matchup, with some exceptions, obviously, which we'll get into. So champions that you can easily proxy, and then in my opinion you probably should look to proxy, are going to be Aatrox. He has one dash in the early game, so you can pretty much just kite away from him as long as you get out of the W. Cho'Gath, he has one Rupture. If you dodge the Rupture, it's very hard for him to actually catch up to you and use his E on you. Darius, this matchup you want to go Splash with Darius. If he gets his W slow on you, which he will basically every time, you just pop your Phase Rush, run away. And if he pops his Ghost to run you down, you pop your Ghost. If he flashes, you flash, etc. Flash overall, just get away from him. You should proxy, and it shouldn't be that difficult because you should always have the same summoner spell parity as him, because every time he uses a summoner spell, you should use a summoner spell as well. Dr. Mundo, he has to hit like 15 cleavers on you to kill you, so as long as you dodge a couple, you'll be good. Gragas does have the dash, the body slam to damage you and stun you, but once that's down, you can pretty much ignore him and get the wave and run away. Gangplank has to hit chain barrels on you, and if you can get him away from his barrels or you win the barrel fight, you can pretty much proxy against him, not too big of an issue. You usually can't take more than 1 or 2 waves against Gangplank because he will be poking you down with his Q and his autos, but you should be able to proxy pretty much okay against him. Garen, very easy to proxy against. He is very telegraphed. He just runs right at you. Fling him away, get your wave. With Jax, you want to hold your fling until after he uses his Q. Once he uses Q, fling him off of you, and then continue your proxy and get the wave and get out. Irelia, you dodge your E, you're good. Just fling her away, you're fine. Nasus has Wither to chase you down, but if he's not farming under his turret, he's losing stack, so he's usually not even going to chase you at all. during your proxy, you should just be fine. It does suck to have him get those stacks under his turret, but you can't really beat a sustain anyways in lane, so just tend to proxy and get perfect CS skill for mid to late game, peel him off your team with rallies, you'll be okay. Mordekaiser, you dodge his E, you're good to go. Just don't get hit by, if you dodge the E, don't take a Q plus auto, because once he gets his passive up, he gets a lot of movement speed, and he can chase you down. So as long as you dodge the E, stay from his autos, fling him away from yourself, you should be good. Malphite is very easy to proxy into. The only exception is when you're actually pushing the wave in the lane against Malphite. He will poke you very hard with his Q and W, with Grasp or Comet or whatever as he takes. So just watch your health bar against him, because if you overcommit and you proxy with too little HP, he can just kill you. Maokai, you're good, bro. He's gonna W you, just fling him away from yourself, proxy, you'll be fine. Your Q does not charge his passive, so he has a harder time healing against you as well. You'll be fine. Ornn, kind of the same deal, although with Maokai, although he does have more CC and more damage, and is just generally a superior champion to Maokai in top lane. So just be careful again with your health bar against him. Once he uses his one dash, you'll be fine mostly. Whenever you're flinging him, though, make sure that his W is down, or he's not using it when you fling him, because if you fling him and he's using W and you're in his face, you're gonna take a lot of damage and probably die. With Set, just dodge his E or walk away after he E's. You can fling him after he E's. You can also fling him to reposition his charge W as well, to dodge that. So should be pretty free. Sion, really free matchup to proxy, and just when you're going around the jungle and you're coming into the lane behind turret, don't let him line up his charged Q on you, the hammer smash, the axe smash, and you'll be fine. Silas, he does have multiple dashes with his E ability and his chains ability, but honestly, he doesn't really have the damage to all in you and kill you, so you should be able to get at least 1 or 2 waves and then recall if he's not chasing you. And if he is chasing you, then just run, you'll be fine. Trundle can block block pathway access with his pillar, but if you have phase rush or you just have tier 2 boots, he really can't catch you and all in you, so just grab your wave and get out. Tryndamere, same deal as mostly champions, just grab your wave and get out. He has the dash. If he's not autoing you, you can't reset it. Shen, don't get taunted under his turret when you're walking for your proxy. Other than that, you should be fine. Zahen is not that bad to proxy against. He will probably try and grab you under his turret with his W, the spear thrust and grab, so just try and dodge that. Olaf, same deal as Darius. If he ghosts, you ghost. If he flashes, you flash. Pop your phase rush, get away from him. But as long as he misses an axe, it's hard for him to like run you down, because he has to run to the axe and then pick it up. So if you kite the opposite direction of where the axe misses, then you should be good to get away from him. Wukong, he will dash on you, but he lacks the damage to all in you, and if he chases you too long, he will lose a lot of minions, so don't worry too much about him. Yasuo has 1 dash, and he cannot reset the dash behind his own turret because he can't dash to his own minions, so don't worry too much about him. Yorick, just dodge the cage, dodge the E, you'll be good to go with your proxy. Harder to proxy champions, but you should still try. Camille is hard because of her E. It's very easy for her to gap close onto you, but if you can fling her off of yourself after she uses the E, you should be able to get your wave and get out. Fiora is actually very difficult when you're proxying, because she can maintain movement speed on you with her Q dashes. When she ults you, she gets faster based on your movement speed, so when she ults you and you ult, she gets even faster. And you have a very hard time actually flinging her off of yourself, because she can cancel your fling with her post and stun you. So you have to do a few things. You can W under your own feet with poison on and right click her to get your phase rush and run away. You can fling her away when her W is down, or you can kind of play the mind game and see if you can bait the fling and then fling her away. You can also use your laugh spam with Control 4, and that will make the same sound as when you fling, so that can sometimes cause them to fuck up their riposte as well. Gnar is a champion that can run you down, so just be very careful. Prioritize getting your tier 2 boots in this matchup, because that will actually give you the movement speed to get away from him if you need to be able to run away, but that's going to be a bit harder for sure. All these champions in the second tier, the harder to proxy, are able to kill you, and these are generally harder matchups for Singed. One matchup that is not going to be harder for Singed behind the turret is actually Alawi. The reason why this is going to be harder to proxy matchup is because she can actually set up tentacles behind her turret from just farming under her turret, and then W you, take your spirit, pull it under her turret, and then hit you with turret shots. So you have to really be careful with your health bar against her. If you get hit by a spirit pull, just get out of the range. Don't worry about trying to fight her on it. Just get out of the range, tank the one tentacle, and then get your wave, get out. Cassante is not that hard to proxy against pre-6. The problem is at level 6, he can ult you through the wall of your proxy and under his turret and kill you. So that is, and he can also follow you through walls whenever he ults you and take you out of your proxy entirely. So just be careful with him, but pre-6 should be fine. Get your items up, get your movement speed up, you'll be good to go after that. Jace, very difficult to proxy against because he can poke you so hard before you actually find the proxy in the laning phase. I recommend just banning this champion. Not worth playing against him currently. He's disgusting. Pantheon is not hard to proxy against, specifically when you're behind the turret, but the problem is, again, he can poke you very hard when you're actually in the laning phase pushing the wave into the turret, which can cause your health to be too low to proxy. So just try and dodge a Q or two. Get a little bit of armor, you should be okay, hopefully. Tom Kench, similar deal to Pantheon. When you're actually behind the turret, not that hard to deal with, but when you're in the lane with the tongue, he can poke you very hard. Then he can actually grab you with his ultimate when you're 3 stacked and pull you under his turret to kill you, which is scary. So as long as you're able to get a couple items before he gets a lot of damage going, you should hopefully be fine. Teemo, disgusting rat champion. Get your sweeper as soon as he gets level 6. Honestly, recommend dodging or banning this champion as well, but try to not spend too much time in lane against him. Get your proxy on, and what you can do against him is also skip the first wave entirely and just try and get your tier 2 boots as fast as possible, and just like start your proxy on wave 2, but your wave 2 is actually wave 1 because you're fully skipping wave 1, right? And I'll go over a wave skip strat in the actual guide video as well. Urgot, similar deal to most ranged top laners, except with Urgot, armor is quite effective. So rush Ninja Tabby against Urgot. You can still hopefully find your proxy then. Don't fling whenever he dashes because he will cancel your fling fully. Wait for him to dash on you and then fling him away, or you can actually W under his feet with your poison on, then fling him and get your phase rush immediately and kite away from him. Vayne can chase you down, but she also wants to farm. So with Vayne, if you have movement speed and AP, just try and kite away from her. I'd actually recommend generally debating on putting this in the do not proxy, just lane kill tier. You can probably put her in either one, to be honest, but you can either proxy or kill this lane. You should be fine to do either as long as you itemize for either one, right? With Varus, also can fall into the do not proxy, just lane and kill strat. But this one only applies if your jungler is coming, because if your jungler is not going to help you against Varus, he will actually just burst you down too quickly to really deal with. So if your jungler is pathing for you, you can go for a kill lane. If not, he's a bit easier to proxy than Vayne because Varus lacks the movement speed to actually stay in range of you. My orange cat is here. Hi, buddy. Heimerdinger, if you can get to your proxy, he's not too bad. The hard part of Heimer is getting that proxy in the first place because he chokes you out in lane by poking you so hard and having such fast wave clear with his turrets that it's hard to get behind the turret in the first place. You might have to skip a wave here or even flash over the wall. Vladimir, not too bad, honestly. Again, similar to Pantheon, he just pokes you down in lane. Once you're behind the turret, it's not that bad. Yone, because he can spirit away from his turret and hit you while you're proxying, can be very annoying, because then the moment that you actually trade back, he'll just spirit back under his turret and keep farming, right? So that's the reason why he's good against proxy, but he has a harder time all-inning you before level 6, so just use that to your advantage. Get a little bit of armor if you have to. Riven, Tabby Rush is very good against her, or just bone plating or aftershock, things like this. Health is good against her as well in the early game, but because you're buying a lot of defensive stats against Riven, your wave clear can suffer, and she can run you down with her Q and E dash as well. So for those reasons, she can be a little harder to proxy against, but as long as you're playing properly, you should hopefully be fine. Renekton is just a big lane bully. He can take a lot of your health in the lane before you find your proxy, which makes this matchup a bit harder. He also has dashes to keep up with you when you're proxying behind turret to try and all-in you. So make sure that you wait a bit to proxy this in matchups that are a bit harder and get your level 6 around then and then go. Warwick is hard because he has his W Blood Scent to run you down, and Warwick's Q actually follows through if you flash over a wall to get away, and he can actually cancel your fling with his hold Q and his E fear, because I'll actually cancel it as well. So what we want to do is really just make sure that you have as high of HP as possible. Just take one wave and then execute or leave, because if you go for multiple waves, he will eventually run you down with his W and kill you. Volibear, when you're behind the turret, again, not that bad, but he is able to run you down with the Q. The thing with Volibear is in the lane, his one trade, if he lands his Q dash or Q sprint on you, is he lines up such a massive trade on you that one trade will chunk you out of lane, essentially. So for this character, once you're behind turret, not that bad. Just be very, very careful when you're in lane to not get hit by that full trade combo. Rumble, similar deal to Pantheon, just pokes you down once you're behind turret, not that bad. Briar just is able to keep up with you and can E-Scream slam you into walls, so try and reposition her E-Scream with your fling, or just fling her away when she's chasing you and then try to get the wave and kite away. Kale, never, ever, never proxy against Kale. Just run Ignite, just try and kill her as best you can. This champ is a very good counter pick into Singe, so just try and kill her if possible. So first things first, I would recommend generally against a very level 1 first wave proxy, because these days most top laners will actually be able to scout that. They know it's coming when you're against Singe, so they will defend their wave and you'll lose a lot of HP extra for it. However, if you see the enemy top laner in a very aggressive position, which is why you want to walk where I walked into the river there to try and check their position. If you see them, then you can potentially look for either a fast push in lane, or if you see them in lane, go for level 1 proxy, right? But in general, I'd recommend against it unless you know where they are. But most top laners will just walk with the wave and not show. So in this case, what I want you to notice is that the enemy Cho'Gath is, I walk up when the wave shows up, and he's not here immediately, right? So I'm going to start pushing this immediately. Now, if Cho'Gath was actually standing, let's say, for example, right here, then I'm probably not going to do this as easily, because he'll be able to poke me when I push the wave. But because he's not standing directly on it, what I can do is just start pushing this wave immediately. So let's go ahead and play that. So he's behind his wave, so we're pushing immediately. You can still push immediately a lot of the time because you just have such superior wave clear on Singed, and just burn your health bar to get this first wave shoved in. But once this first wave is shoved in, what we're going to do is now walk around for the proxy. And I want you to notice something. You always want to be watching where the enemy, or where your waves are on your map. So this wave is down here where I've circled, and the wave in the bot lane, which is the wave that actually mirrors Cho'Gath's wave, shows where his wave is, which means Cho'Gath's wave is actually right here in this circle right here in Fog of War. So knowing that, you can time whether or not you have enough time still to run around the turret to find your proxy. In this case, we should have just enough time to run around the turret and find our proxy. So I go for that. I ping his ward when he wards over the wall, but now it's already too late for him. I'm able to find this proxy. We're going to go ahead and start and just farm, farm, farm. You want to ward exactly where I warded over this wall, and the reason why is because that's the first ward you put down. The reason why is because you want to see if the enemy jungler is there. If the enemy jungler started topside, they'll already be on that camp, in which case you have to be very careful if they try to fight you, or if the camp is not being taken. And this applies for Grump as well. That means that they're pathing in the direction of you. In this case, the Yasuo just shows up and starts to jungle and take that camp, which means he is pathing for bot side. Now, my jungler has the information of what their jungler is doing, and I see him walking away. I'm level 2, so I can fling him and get away if I need to. But for now, we're just going to be pushing and taking this camp. I want to actually rewind a little bit and show you exactly how to deal with the cannon wave as well. So what you do on waves, especially cannon waves specifically because they're higher DPS waves, you want to try and get your poison down across all the minions and then kite the melee minions around the cannon so that they have a harder time hitting you. And what that will do is actually drag the cannon as well and make the cannon have a hard time hitting you as well. Then once the minions are dead, you walk back and you just right click and auto the cannon down. One thing you can do also is recall right here. So this recall position right here, and then I'll highlight the opposite side as well, which will be right about here where you see these vision lines is the other recall spot. Those spots are where you recall. There and then there is where you want to recall to be outside of the vision of the enemy top laner under their turret. And what this lets you do is it lets you farm while keeping your points passively increased from being in lane. When you are behind the turret, you are still considered to be in lane for the purpose of your top lane role quest. However, when you're in the jungle, right, this whole area down here is not considered to be in lane. So you kind of want to avoid proxying down there because you won't be considered to be in the lane. Same thing with the bush up here. So whenever you're in the bush back here, you are not considered to be in lane for your recall, but when you are actually over here in the bottom half of the bush, for some reason, you are considered in lane. So just kind of bear that in mind when you're proxying, is that there are good spots to recall in and bad spots to recall in. You want to try and recall in the lane if possible. If you can't, don't worry too much about it. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but you will slowly get behind in your points if you are recalling in spots where you don't have that passive point generation. So let's go ahead and erase all this, and I will continue with my explanation. Right, so you also don't have to complete your recall. You can just channel it and then go for the next wave if you feel safe enough to continue. The reason why I'm continuing right now is because the enemy jungler I know is going to be pathing away towards bottom, and if he was to come gank me, he would lose a lot of tempo because I already saw him walk away from the ward that we put down, right? So in between waves, a lot of the time, I'll just stand here and then channel my recall. Now, when you see the enemy top lane plate getting low, because of the crystals, you actually have a little bit of increased range to hit them, right? You can walk up and hit it. You will take damage. The top laner will generally hit you. Now, what's happening is I'm in a harder spot now. The Cho'Gath has chunked me out because I walked up for the plate, but I didn't get the plate, right? He knows that I'm chunked out, however. Do I have enough health and resources to clear the next wave? If Cho'Gath does not touch me at all, yes. But the odds of him killing me are a lot higher now, so I'm actually going to be recalling now. But what I'm going to do is recall over here. Even though it's bad, I can't recall in the lane because I can't clear the wave. So what I do is I put W on the wave to slow it down, to make it push further into my favor when the wave will meet in the lane, because it'll be closer to his side of the lane, meaning the next wave will push into me. So I can affect the tempo of the wave and then come back into my lane. And know that the wave will push into me if he's trying to quote-unquote freeze it, and then I'll be able to grab the wave, which is what he's doing right now, right? I know even though this wave looks even, it's not, because the next wave will shove into me, right? And so I'm good to let this wave push into me slowly, and then eventually what I will do is, I don't want a hard push right now unless I'm very confident. I'll let it slowly crash into my turret and then play it. Or if he uses his abilities on the wave and messes up, I can just fling him off of it and then use my poison DPS to just chunk the wave out, right? If the enemy top laner is more competent, then you'll generally want to bounce off your own turret. But in this situation, he just hard shoved the wave, meaning that I'm able to just use my HP bar to farm the wave as well. And so I want to rewind a few seconds and show you what I just did here. Is after I cleared this wave, I'm looking for a proxy, but I notice that the bot lane wave and my top lane wave are already past tier 2 turret, meaning I'm probably not fast enough to get to this proxy and get it in time, right? Because I still have to walk all the way over here, and these minions are still pretty fast. The way that minion movement speed works in the early game is that the first wave, for whatever reason, is quite slow. Right after that, waves become very fast, very, very fast. And then as you approach 14 minutes, the wave speed will slow down. So the earlier that you can get tier 2 boots, generally the better. Which means it's probably the most important stat to have movement speed. But if you don't have enough wave clear for the minions that are actually in the lane over here, you're gonna have a hard time clearing them in time to even find your proxy. So you always want to have the best balance of movement speed, wave clear, meaning ability power, and health, so you don't get all in by the enemy top laner when you're actually farming to try and look for your proxy. And so you'll notice that I actually cancel my proxy here and just walk back to lane instead of trying to force this proxy, because it's already too late for me to find the proxy, right? So I'll just drop the word there. I'm popping my health potions here. I have enough resources to basically go for one more wave. And if you get denied your proxy, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Just make sure that you're recalling on Singed a lot. Your strength in the early game versus melee champions is your wave clear, right? If you do not have your wave clear, you have nothing. So having your wave clear, I'm able to actually grab that wave fully, dodge his trade, and then now, because I see where the waves are, I can look for this proxy. I also see the enemy. This is important. I want to highlight this. So imagine that Yasuo was not on my map. I would have to be a bit careful because this camp is up, right? That's the camp that I envision of, meaning that this camp is probably up too because he's clearing on his second clear at this point. So knowing that those camps are up, my likelihood of running into Yasuo is quite high. I have the option to just walk to this bush that I'm standing in and recall, right? If I feel like I'm in danger from getting ganked by Yasuo, I can just walk on this bush and recall. But I see him in mid lane, so I can go for this proxy now, knowing that he is that he is not here. And so what I'm going to do actually here is what I should do actually is scout this camp. But I know exactly where he is, and he wasn't here, so I'm going to recall here where they don't have vision. Right, I'm out of vision of that turret, out of vision of this turret. I'm just going to get out, because I know Yasuo will be here soon, right? I don't have enough money for tier 2 boots, so Jarvan just scouted the camp. The camp is still up, meaning Yasuo will be there, right? Don't have enough money for tier 2 boots yet, so I'm just going to buy a little bit more wave clear, and we'll run back to lane and continue to back for a little bit. I see Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath is a little bit low. He does hit level 6 before me, unfortunately. I'm going to try to ping for my jungler to come, but I do not have the ability to just, like, straight up kill him here without my ultimate. I'm going to trade pretty hard on him, though, because I do have teleport to come back to lane if I need to, but in general, I'm not going to, like, all in too hard because of the risk of his ultimate. My Jarvan, however, does come, so we just look for the kill on him whenever my Jarvan shows up. I don't have the damage to kill him by myself, but because Jarvan does show up, I'm able to go back in. So watch your map always for these ganks. One small thing as well, I need to highlight the level disparity here. So I'm gonna rewind a little bit again. He hits level 6 before me. Why does Cho'Gath hit level 6 before me? Because whenever you walk back to lane after your proxy, sometimes you will lose 1 or 2 minions just to the RNG nature of how waves will clash against each other. Sometimes your minions will out DPS their minions, because sometimes randomly your 3 range minions will focus 1 minion. Sometimes your cannon will like run to the back line and just randomly die. Minion RNG and mechanics in League are kind of bullshit. So it is entirely possible that just due to some random chance, this usually does happen because they'll just be in lane. Even if it's a difference of like 1 or 2 minions that you lose to just RNG, they can hit level 6 before you. So just assume that if you are like at level 5.9, that enemy top laner is going to be level 6 if they're in Fog of War if you don't see them. Which is exactly what happened here. I was at like level 5.8, 5.9, and then Cho'Gath saw level 6, right? So you do have to be careful of that. And just bear in mind that level 6 to level 5, level 6 timing is very important. But thankfully, Jarvan does show up. I have level 6 on the wave. I just run past him and try to not get eaten. Then Jarvan EQs, and we kill him. Very clean, very good. Now, what do I do now? Cho'Gath will teleport back to lane. However, I have a lot of wave clear with the ultimate, and I have movement speed all starting as well. So I, looking at his death timer, can assume after 4 seconds, he will channel his teleport to his turret, which is another 4-second timer. So can I go for this turret plate? Probably not. I am going to look to go around for the proxy. And I see his teleport, so I just look around.
On my way.
I decide that here it's actually a little bit too dangerous to go for this because I don't have a lot of HP left, and he teleported to lane, so 5-minute timing is usually very good to teleport to lane. And that's what I'll do. So in this situation, I actually go against my own advice and I buy a giant spell, because once he's level 6, I don't want to get all in by him essentially, but you can also, if you're confident, the better option here against most champions is to grab your tier 2 boots or to grab more wave clear, right? So knowing he'll go for my plate, I'll just trade very hard on him. And he also has that ult to eat me, so we're going to kite away. And then the goal always of being in lane is to try and find your proxy, right? So he's going to back off. I know that he's chunked, but me being lower HP is more dangerous than him. If I can just push this wave in and find a proxy, that's better for me. Unfortunately, I'm not able to. He flashes on me, I kite away. And we're just going to reset immediately, right? Or even just look to go under turret and farm it out. But in general, the way that you play the early game is going to be kind of like this, right? You're going to be looking at wave states, you're looking to bounce off your turret, you're going to be looking to find your proxy. If you can't find your proxy, you're going to reset. It is all a balancing act on Singed when you are proxying, right? If I think the enemy top laner is going to back, I'll just back. If I think they're going to stay in this situation, I'll probably just back anyways, which that's very dangerous. Take a recall here. You cannot always find your proxy. If you overforce your proxy, you will die, right? So try to not do that. You don't want to give free kills. So Cho'Gath actually stayed, but now that I know that he stayed, I know his tempo is off, right? Because he has to recall after that wave, and I'm already running back to lane, meaning because this next wave is coming, I know where his next wave is. I can just push very hard and find the proxy. I'm going to fast forward a bit. We're grabbing the wave. We're grabbing the next wave as well. Then I'm going to look for either the plate or the proxy immediately. Sometimes you can go for the plate and it's fine, because what you're doing is you're like kind of judging where the enemy top laner is, and I know that he's not in a position where he can defend the plate on time. I just grab the plate and I find the proxy at the same time. Getting the plate during the proxy is very, very, very nice. It skyrockets your role quest points, right? So just trying to make the judgment call of how fast you think they'll come back to lane. Try and judge their home guard speed. Do they have tier 2 boots that they're going to come to lane even faster, right? Here, I'm channeling recall because I see that the Yasuo's Krug camp is up, so it's dangerous for me to stay. However, I decide that I'm actually mostly fine because I have a lot of HP and mana and my ult, so I'm just going to stay because if they kill me, they're going to have to use a lot of resources to kill me here, right? Sorry if I'm speaking too fast. It's a lot of information I'm trying to convey very quickly. But we're going to just kind of do the same thing. And look at my role quest points. We're doing very good on my role quest points. We're over halfway to the role quest marker, which is very nice. And because I'm very confident in my resources there, I'm able to stay and grab another wave. I could have probably even grabbed another wave. I don't think I was in much danger from the Yasuo there. But you slowly just kind of work towards your first item. Once I'm back in lane, he knows I have prio on this wave over him, so we're just going to grab the wave and then look for proxy again immediately. Or actually, in this case, I look to go scout the camp here because my jungler wants to come kill it. And this is another thing you can do, is you can fake your proxy, right? If you walk into river after clearing a wave, a lot of the time the enemy top laner will just think that you're proxying, and because you push the wave so quickly, right, you see I kind of walk towards the bush, then I fake walk down. If he has this warded, he knows that I'm not proxying, but if he doesn't have it warded, he's going to assume I'm walking around for the proxy, right? When I can just then fake out and go into grubs with my jungler being here, and then just help him leash these grubs. Getting the grubs, you get assists on 2 of them, you do get 15 points of pop, right? So it's quite good. Cho'Gath cannot over ult them, so be a bit careful there. He silences me, I'm going to pop my ult and ghost away, or kite away immediately. Thankfully, Jarvan gets his, I'm going to focus the Krug camp, or the thing down there, the grub. Actually, it's the more important to get the objective, and then just kite away. Look for this wave when we're back in lane. Cho'Gath is a little chunked out, so we're going to be very careful. Do I die here? Yeah, I die here because the support ganks me, unfortunately, but we're going to deny him an assist, and then we're going to die there. But we get 2 grubs. We get a lot of value in the lane. So far, this lane has gone very well for me. I've been playing quite decently. I think Jarvan kills the Cho'Gath here. So knowing that the Jarvan kills the Cho'Gath here, I'm already back in lane. He ganks him under turret, kills him. Now I know Cho'Gath's TP is going to be up because I TP'd after him, and my TP is almost up. So his TP is available, right? But I'm able to push knowing that he's dead for 17 more seconds. Then we just look for this push, right? Yasuo actually shows up here as well, but we're gonna, sorry, I'm fast forwarding and messing this up, but here we just push very hard, looking at his death timer, and then you add 4 seconds for TP before it's unleashed. After it's unleashed, I think it's 3, but we hit this plate knowing that I have 2 grubs. I have more DPS for it as well. There's Cho'Gath's TP. I see Yasuo. I'd be very careful here. We're going to fling him off. And again, here, like I said in the matchup section, he actually cannot follow you very easily during your proxy because he does actually have to, or have no dashes whenever you are behind the turret. Do I die to Cho'Gath? I think I live here. Oh, I do die, but we got the Yasuo ult. We got Cho'Gath's flash as well, so not that bad. I messed up a little bit there by taking too many Q autos. If I had tier 2 boots, I actually would have been fine there. So against my own advice, I actually went for a full item before tier 2 boots, but sometimes you just do that. A lot of the time on Singed, your itemization, you play by feel, right? But even though they killed me, they're gonna have a hard time getting my plates because I'm able to TP back in a lane and just defend this. And then similar deal, do I actually die again? Yeah, I die again. So that's not the important part. The important part is that I've shown you guys basically how you want to play the early game out as Singed, as proxy, and the things you kind of look for, the things you keep in mind whenever you're proxying, how to track the enemy jungler, right? You want to scout this camp, kind of get a feel for what their clear timings are. If the camp is up, be careful because you're going to be in more danger. If the camp is down, you're generally okay, unless they're going to go out of their way to do an odd gank on you, which gives your jungler time to either invade their jungler, take an objective on the bottom side of the map, how to go for grubs when you're proxying, etc., right? So I will move on to example number 2. So this example is going to be the more normal example, where you are not able to hard push that first wave because the enemy top laner walks in front of it. So you see Briar right down here is already in lane defending her wave. She knows I'm not proxying. If I go to proxy now, it's already too late. So I don't have the ability to just like face tank her and hardship wave, and she has pressed the attack ignite as well. So her early game damage is just so much higher than mine that I do have to be very careful. I'm not able to aggressively shove this, right? So what you're gonna see that I do here is just we're planning ahead. We're planning a couple waves in advance. On Singed, you always want to think 1 or 2 waves ahead in terms of how you're gonna approach situations, because your goal eventually is to find that proxy and get your recall off, right? So here, I know that she's very aggressive early game setup. I don't have the ability to hard shove, because if I hard shove, I will die, most likely, and I'll have the wave in a terrible spot. What we're going to do is let her push into our turret and then we're going to slowly bounce off of our turret while minimizing our DPS on the wave. And what that will do is, because the turret DPS is super high, will create a bouncing effect where the next wave coming off the turret will slowly generate a push into her. Right? It's known as a wave bounce. It's a very, very prolific top lane strategy, but in terms of how you use the execute proxy is quite important. So she actually uses her E to hard shove the wave in, because she wants to actually push the wave in time to deny me from doing this, which is to freeze the wave right here. I'm not trying to let the wave come out of this spot right now. I know it's going to crash into my turret eventually, but I want to minimize that. I want it to take as long as possible to do that, because if I let it take a long enough time to actually get under my turret, I have more time to bounce off my turret later, because I'll have more levels, I'll have more resources, I'll have higher levels in Poison Trail for more DPS on the wave as well, right? So just let it slowly bounce in. If I can maintain the freeze, it will maintain it, but we're going to just leave it right there and let it slowly work its way into our turret. I know that even though she is doing this, I'm gonna have to eventually, well, flash out there because she all in, so. If I have to recall as well, you just recall on Singe, not that big of a deal, because the whole idea of having teleport is to get yourself out of this situation where you're being shoved into your turret and still getting chunked out, right? So we keep you back in. I'm actually going to grab a Doran's Ring from her wave clear. I see she walks in her bush. She probably wants to recall, but now that this is underneath my turret, now I can bounce it off my turret. It's not a perfect bounce because it's like an even wave state now because the turret, my minions didn't freeze under it, right? But knowing that she has no teleport, that she's played a very aggressive early game style, I can now still kind of quote-unquote bounce the wave off my turret and just hard shove this wave in, right? I see where the enemy minions are. Again, guys, watching the map, my wave is back here, my bot lane wave is back here, meaning that Briar's wave is, yep, back here. I'm able to use that knowledge to know where her wave is, and then once again look for this proxy. Ward this bush similar to the other side of the map when you want to ward the Krug bush, or below the Krugs. Here I ward in that bush though, because that's a gank path, and it lets me have vision of the Grump to see where the jungler is. The jungler is actually here, so we're gonna look for an immediate execute. Unfortunately, the Graves does W me and I do die, but it's not the biggest deal in the world. I actually get the cannon there as well before I die. So I do get the full wave. I die for it, but it is what it is. My goal is not to be in the lane versus Briar. My goal is to just get as much XP and farm as possible. And if I don't die to Briar, okay. If I die to jungler, that sucks, right? But you want to always avoid, as Singed, being underneath your turret getting pushed in. That is the last place that you want to be on Singed. Unless you're against a ranged champion and your jungler is going to be ganking for you, then it's okay. But if those two things are not true, which your jungler usually doesn't come top, you have to be very careful, right? So I saw her drag the wave into the bush to try and let it push towards her, meaning she wants to aggro onto me and trade on me very hard. And chase me down, look for trades, look for whatever damage she can get. Because eventually she wants to all-in me with her Ignite plus PTA autos, right? So knowing that, my goal is still the exact same. I just want to get as much damage on the wave as possible if I can. If not, then I'm just going to kite away. Here, I'm not able to actually finish that wave. I see that the Graves is over here chasing my Zeri. So my choice now, actually, I'm going to skip the rest of the wave that was in the lane that she's still working on, because she thinks I'm recalling. I'm not recalling. I'm going for this next wave. And I won't even be able to get the entire wave. I actually see Briar walk down from her position in lane there. So knowing that, I'm going to tank this wave as long as possible. And then W, execute, right? Because if she were to stay in lane farming minions, I would start pushing that wave. But because she's walking down to try and catch me, as she sees me go for the proxy, I'm not going to touch the wave at all. If I touch the wave even a little bit with Poison Trail, even one auto attack, then the next wave of mine will have enough DPS to beat the wave and push into her. We don't want it to push into her. We want it to push into us, right? And so now she knows that I'm dead, she knows to go for the push. I'm going to get cloth armor to look for my tier 2 boots at ASAP, get tabbies, very good against their team, obviously, Briar top lane and Graves. The wave's in under my turret. I see where the gold goes from the plate that she gets, so I know that she's recalling. Stop her recall there. Now she's only on Doran's Ring plus Cole, and I have boots, cloth armor, and 2 rings as well, so I have a lot more like stats than she does, essentially, that I'm able to use to just farm this wave out. I'm close to my level 6 as well. Once I'm 6, I'm able to pop it if I need to, but for now, we're going to ignore her and then just look for our proxy if possible. If you can't find it, then that's fine, but in this case, I do find it, so she's chasing me down here. I'm gonna pop my AP potion and the ultimate. I'm gonna turn poison off to look for a fling. Unfortunately, I walk into the E body slam and die there. Thankfully, Briar doesn't get the kill, but if I played that a little bit better, I was able to live there. That's just my own fault from probably having a rough game this game. But it's good to show you guys that, because these things do happen, right? If I positioned a little bit better, I was completely fine there. They wouldn't be able to kill me. Unless the Briar ults, but that's not the hardest thing ever to dodge after you see where she's ulting from, right? So, similar deal is to look for the proxy and get back in the lane by pushing. And this is something that you do basically every time you go in a lane of Singed, is you want to consider whether or not you actually can proxy. I don't know where she is, actually, which is hard, but she's in lane now. She walks at me, uses her stun to get on top of me. We're going to fling her away. You can obviously look for the easy goofling on Briar as well, but she's kind of taking a lot of damage here, so you want to think about that whenever you're approaching this situation. How much damage you're taking as well, but I fling every time she uses her W to chase me, and then if she uses her RQ, then unfortunate for me, but she uses her ult on me there as well, so we're going to look to just run away here and run over my turret. Then she will kite away whenever I get near my turret. She's going to get flung underneath. So now I've actually pushed that wave all the way in. I can't find my proxy, unfortunately, but she does lose minions, and I just recall, right? It is okay to recall if you can just push the wave into their turret. You don't need to find the proxy. It's very helpful to find the proxy, obviously, but it's not a hard requirement that you have to have it to get your recall. As long as you get the wave crashed in, you're usually okay. And I know that she has no teleport, right? So knowing that she has no teleport, I'm able to try and look for her and stop her recall, because I know she's gonna recall here. There's no way she stays. She actually does stay. I pop the R and just fight her. My R gives grievous wounds, so I'm able to trade on her a little bit here. I believe this ends up being a kill. I don't remember this game exactly. This was a little couple days ago, but I see her recalling her turret. I have flash fling available. I W her. I pull her out of her turret there, fling her when she uses her E, because I baited her dash there and just look for the kill. Easy. And so even though I've died in my proxy, even though I've been chased down like a dog by their jungler multiple times, because she lacks teleport and I have it, I'm able to make a series of macro decisions that lets me have a large lead in lane over the Briar. Now, unfortunately, Graves is here again, so I do die to him, but I got the wave, right? So we are performing pretty well, even though we're getting hard camped by the jungler. Put the tent emote up, right? So it's just gonna be the same thing again when I come back to lane. We're gonna, I believe I TP'd the lane here. No, I just walked to lane here. Briar will walk to lane as well, but my ult is almost up. I swap to ignite with spellbook, and then we're gonna do the same thing, right? We're gonna play ult for ult. I have tier 2 boots. She does not, because she's rushing for damage instead. Whenever she jumps on me, we just fling kite away. If I'm not able to actually maintain distance, then I pop the R if I think she's gonna all in me. I can also just pop the R here because she's chunked out, and then look for the trade, which I believe is what I do. Yep, exactly that. Fling her into goo, missed that, but I do have ignite here, so when she uses her all in, pop the ignite. She uses her wall slam, but then she's dead. And so Graves was just top lane. He shouldn't still be here, right? And so I'm going to go for this turret plate. In my opinion, if you don't know where the enemy jungler is, but you've killed the enemy top laner and you have the chance to go for the plate, in general, you should go for the plate, because the plates are very, very beneficial to get. It's a lot of gold, it's a lot of points towards your role quest. If you can get it, then get it. If your jungler is spam pinging you off the turret, like, hey, don't go for this, trust them probably. But in general, what I like to do is go for the plate, because I'm a greedy pig. You will die sometimes, but sometimes you get a lot more money and you're, good to go, right? So even though we've been camped, even though we've been chased down, even though we're against a very aggressive setup champion, I'm able to actually get ahead in this early game, and eventually we do transition this into a win for my team by having a very good late game team fight, and then we just win. So on to the next example, which is going to be versus range champions using the wave skip strategy. So what do you do when you're against a very difficult range matchup such as Jace or Teemo or Vayne, Heimerdinger, or Gnar? What I employ is the level 1 wave skip. And so what I'm doing here is walking up into their tri-bush to try and ward for the camp for their jungler. You don't have to do this part. You can just stay back, and you can stay, for example, like back down here and then just wait. But in this case, I saw he wasn't there, so I'm gonna look for the level 1 Vayne to scout their crud camp. I'm just gonna completely skip the first wave. We're not gonna touch it at all, because against a range matchup as Singed, you're gonna end up taking way too much damage in the laning phase to have any sort of benefit anyways, right? So we're just gonna skip that first wave entirely, and then just start farming on wave 2. Now my mid laner is gonna put a ward on their raptor camp, so we're gonna see that the raptor camp is not there, and then we're going to start farming this anyways. Because we're going to assume that the enemy jungler is going to be either defending their bot side or going to their red buff, right? But we just go for this, we farm it out, and then looking at where the enemy the enemy wave is. I see it's still behind their tier 1 turret, or sorry, tier 3 turret. So I'm gonna look for the proxy on their wave 3, which is my wave 2, but overall wave 3 in the game. And then just farm it out, right? I don't even have Doran's Ring here. I don't have Dark Seal. I only have 9 AP from runes. I have a Cloth Armor Sword versus Jace, but we're just going to take this next wave as well. If the enemy jungler comes, you either can die and try and finish the wave, or you can just flash underneath their turret and execute, essentially. But we're going to execute regardless, because the enemy Jace was not under his turret, looking for me. So now that we've done that, we have essentially gotten 2 waves of perfect CS, a cannon as well, where we normally would have been struggling in the lane versus Jace and just being unable to get any sort of value from minion lane versus a very, very difficult range matchup, right? So now I actually am able to play this lane out normally from this point, normally, quote unquote. I'm able to get boots, try and get to my tier 2 boots faster, and then play the game from that state instead of struggling underneath my turret and being unable to actually deal with the champion normally. I recommend banning ranged top laners, whatever your least favorite ranged top laner is to play against. Mine is Jace, the most OP champion top lane in high elo besides Mbessa. You can just ban him, or if you're like medium to low elo, then you can ban like Teemo, right? More annoying champions of that sort that you just don't want to deal with. But if you do have to play against them, this is how I would open the game normally versus those champions, is just wave skipping wave 1 and then getting 2 and 3 and then trying to play from that state. So here's an example of level 1 proxying, which again, I generally recommend against, but if you're able to find it, then there's no reason to not go for it, in my opinion, if they're not defending the wave at all. So we're walking down, waiting to see if Aatrox is there. If he's there, I'm going to back off, but I don't see him yet, right? So I'm looking for the level 1 proxy immediately because I assume he's not on the wave. If I walk down here and I see him on the wave, I'm going to back off immediately, but I don't see him, which means he's underneath his turret AFK. We're going to abuse that fact, right? Most players will not do this and let you get level 1 proxy off, but if you're able to, take it, right? Because now I've already gotten the first wave completely uncontested. I have perfect CS so far, and he's stuck underneath his turret, right? So we're already off to a banger of a start, in my opinion, for this game. Then we're just going to take wave 2, take wave 3, execute recall, whatever it is that we need to do. From this point, you can play your proxy pretty much how you would normally, right? I might die here in this clip. I'm not actually sure what happened in this game, but we're going to grab this wave number 2 as well. I scout over the wall for Pantheon. I get my level 2. Aatrox is level 1, so if I have to escape, I'm going to focus on getting away from the Aatrox instead of the Pantheon. Then I get away from him, and then we're just going to back off because they chase me a bit, and then recall immediately. I can also look for the next wave proxy as well. I'm not entirely sure, but the Pantheon is actually giving up his Gromp camp here to go farm elsewhere. I don't know exactly where he is, so I don't hit the wave just yet. I don't see him go around the corner. I see him walk through their mid lane here, away from this entirely, because I think he's afraid of the Shaco invade. So we're just going to look for this wave and then ghost away from Aatrox if we need to, because he's Eing at me. But now he's losing minions under his turret. I've gotten almost every minion since the cannon, and because these minions are under the turret and they're already focusing the turret, the only way they're going to stop focusing it is if I'm under the turret to hit Aatrox, but I'm not. I'm recalling, right? So what's going to happen is these minions are all going to get DPS by the turret. The cannon that I left alive will focus the minions down as well, and then I'll be able to actually collect the cannon after my recall, because it's going to be walking up with the wave, with the next wave that's coming, because it's just sitting in lane not getting hit, right? So I'll show you guys this. It's going to be right there, and I'll walk in the lane and just grab it whenever I can. Sometimes it does bullshit you on the RNG, and sometimes your minions will just randomly dive the backline and then try to YOLO 1v9 the cannon, but in this case, I end up grabbing it, so we're just okay. I want to make sure I grab this and not actually miss the last hit, but this is what you do here. We're going to walk away from the Aatrox's W, and then just get the cannon here. Wow, so even though I missed the cannon on the first time I walked in the lane, I'm able to grab it there, and then we're just going to again repeat push this next wave and find our proxy just like that. We're already back here, right? So I end up dying here, I think, because I'm getting ganked. I should have known this was going to happen because the Pantheon skipped his camp earlier. He's going to come back around and try and grab it again. That's my bad. I shouldn't have proxied here, but overall, you get the idea that you're still able to grab the wave at level 1 and then grab the cannon later if you find level 1. If you don't find level 1, don't force it, because you will lose too much HP from forcing your level 1, right? But if they give it to you for free, just take it, in my opinion. Hello everybody, I'm going to show you hopefully a full game example of how to proxy. The Scion's a great proxy matchup, so hopefully I'm going to get some good proxies off. My jungler is pinging help. I think he thinks the enemy jungler is going to be invading, so we're going to sit here and help him, which he is actually invading, so we're going to just walk over here, hit the Graves with Poison and Conquer. He's going to flash the wall. I'm going to flash the wall and kill him. Very nice. And so I'm actually going to start this lane off with a decent XP lead, decent gold lead as well. and then we're gonna play it out and just see how this game goes. Hope I can get some good proxies off for you guys in this example. Okay, so Sion's pushing enemy right now. I need to bounce off of my turret eventually. If I get level 2 on this wave, I can actually fling him right now and go for the all-in, but he has such a big amount of health from my fighting the Graves that it's kind of hard to do that. So do get level 2 first, though, so I can just try to force the push here. He needs to kill one minion to get his level 2, so we're going to use that to our advantage, and then just hard shove. If I played a bit more aggressively, I could have probably killed him, but that was my bad. I didn't think about my level 2 spike hard enough, so... We are out of resources, though. We're super low mana, super low HP, and we're going to just recall and then run back to lane. I've gotten a kill, so I've got enough gold to buy more items than him. We'll just transition into a lane teleport here. Yep, I'll grab a Dark Seal as well. TPing on the wave is a bit risky against Sion because he can just charge his Q there and smack you, but I think I'll be fine. Even if he does it, I'll just pop a potion and hopefully truck it off. Here it comes. Ooh, painful. It's gonna kite me away as well. That's fine. My goal now is to get this wave pushed in, not get hit by his W. Get this wave pushed in, and then look for the proxy afterwards. It's gonna be a little bit hard because the wave's in a great spot for him. I might have to skip these 3 range minions on the backside here. Did I auto a minion? I think I autoed a minion. Rip. Yeah, sometimes you have to skip the range minions by just leaving them there if the position is too awkward, then just walk around for your proxy on that. But I think I'm okay. He wants to auto me for grasp there. He cancels it, so we're gonna just wait here. He eventually will have to go to last hit the range minions, which is when you can walk up and then look for your turret auto attack there. Then we're going to just farm this wave up. I don't have a word for Graves, but I see him invading my bot side, so I know where he is right now. We're just going to look for this wave and then either execute or reset or stay, depending on what I see going on the lane. So I see Sion trying to last hit minions. We're going to stand here and auto this. If he looks to full combo, so we're going to try and cut away. Dodge the charge Q auto. Then get the plate just like that. Very nice. He's actually chasing me right now, so if you be careful, we're going to fling and just run away because he wants to all in. We're not going to poison the wave here, because if I poison the wave, it's going to freeze against me, right? Because he knows that it's been DPS'd. He's going to follow me here for his Q. Ooh, okay, yeah. So I'm going to ward somehow. I'm not entirely sure how that I'm warded there, but I am. Probably from one in the river. So I want to try and stop my back there. That's fine. That's whatever. I've already gotten a plate. I've gotten the wave. We are good to go, mostly. Then I'm going to prioritize getting my items and then just run back to lane here. I'm not even going to bother healing the full HP because I'm trying to be in lane as fast as possible and regen what I can before I get there. So this wave is right outside of my turret, meaning that I should hopefully have this cannon. Nope, the cannon bullshits me and dives the back line, which is unfortunate, but that's how it goes sometimes. He is low enough where I could go for this kill potentially, so we're going to just start hitting him right here. So I think he's accepted to just look for the death here to try and kill me maybe with his passive, but I'm fast as well when I drift off of you, so I'm just gonna run and we're gonna be okay. Sion's death timer actually starts when his passive is spawned, not when the passive dies, meaning he can respawn in the early game a lot faster than what you think because you're still dealing with his passive, right? By the time that passive goes down, he's already respawned, able to just teleport right to you. So we're gonna grab that wave, and then looking at where the next wave is, I should have enough time to hopefully go for this. I'm gonna scout. That camp is down. I don't know what the timer is, so Graves could be here soon. We're gonna go for this regardless because it's a little bit risky, but we're gonna try. I'm kiting the wave down because I don't know where Sion is. I see him walking at me, so we're just gonna walk away. And he sees me going for the next hit, so he's actually just gonna go for to go back for the wave there. And so what I did there was I didn't know exactly where he was. I did not see him in lane, unfortunately, meaning that he was probably waiting to look for where I was, which is what he was doing. And then he waited for me to go for the wave. Once he sees me doing that, he tries to go for the kill on me. So we deny the kill, right? I do lose a cannon there, but I get the wave, and I don't die to him, which is really good. The cannon lived on 1 HP, unfortunately, so this game I'm actually going to go for the Faded Ashes Rush. It's a decent against Sion.
An ally has been slain. Enemy double kill.
A little bit unfortunate with the Pantheon getting some kills down there, but that's how it goes, eh? Same deal as before. We're going to look to push this in and look for our proxy.
On my way.
And we're going to sort of rinse and repeat this for now to try and just get items and scale up. I don't know where the enemy Graves is. I'm trying to minimize the time I spend in the jungle and trying to maximize the time I spend in lane. But I don't want to be in the lane if I don't know where the Graves is, if I don't know where Twisted Fate is, because Twisted Fate could ult on me as well here, right? So we're just going to be a bit careful, trying to be a bit conservative with how we're positioning. And then go for the next wave as well. If you're chunked out a little bit, just up a potion on Singe. Your health bar is very important. It's a resource, just like your mana is. I see your Pantheon. We're going to look for the ult here. Hope I can get out here. Then we get... Yes, I ulted. Nice. Flash over the wall. Get out. Very good. So I know this next camp is spawning. I cannot get that cannon. That cannon is gone, unfortunately, but... I don't know exactly where Pantheon is. I could maybe go for this next wave. He's going to go mid. So we are going to look for this next wave, because their jungler shows in mid as well. The Graves is there. And their support is also in mid, so we just look for this, right? Sion's walking at me to try and deny me a little bit of farm. What he can do also is he can just walk at you and try to get you to run in the jungle as your minions are dying. And what that does is, even though you kill the minions, you kill them when you're in the jungle, which minimizes the points that you gain from killing them. Because you won't technically be quote-unquote in lane, you'll be in the jungle. And so they can do that as well by just, if they understand very well how the mechanics for the role quests work, they can just do that. They'll be a bit careful with their team comp. Their team comp is very CC heavy, but they also have like a lot of physical damage. So like, I'd love to go Merc Treads because they have like Pantheon stun, Vagar stun, Twisted Fate stun. It's gonna be a bit hard this game though. So I guess we'll see what boots I end up grabbing. I'm not entirely sure yet. But we'll just keep going. Twisted Fate ult is coming down, which means that Sion does know exactly where I am. Having tier 2 boots here would be more beneficial, I think, but I do want to get that Leanders as fast as possible because the Sion's going to have a lot of HP. I'll have to deal with. Unless he goes lethality Sion, I didn't check his items. I should have checked his items before I did this, but... Here, I can also transition into grubs with my jungler. What I will do actually is go for this next wave. This next wave is coming up, so I can just do that as well. You're going to get about the same points for a full wave as you would for getting assists on grubs. I think you get a bit more points for getting the assists on grubs, but... Okay, Sion is actually scouting my Rengar, so I'm going to go over there and help him. Yeah, you get more points for the grubs assists, but you do gain... You do lose your tempo from being behind the turret. So sometimes it is okay to just focus your wave down, but there, I just had to go help because the Sion scouted with his ward over the wall. We don't know where the jungler is still, but this camp is a timer of 1 minute and 4 seconds from me scouting it earlier, so their jungler is bottom. So I'm just good to be back here. I'm just going to chill, keep farming, keep proxying. The Sion is scared of proxying because if he knows that my jungler was near top side. My jungler is now near bot side, though. Might get something done. And we're going to leave because we have enough money for haunting guys. Again, I could go the tier 2 boots here. You don't really need to all the time, but for the strict purpose of proxying, having your tier 2 boots is really good, right? So if Sion goes behind this turret, now I can fight him. Fling him into my turret, etc. We're going to just see if he goes for the Q. He is not in here, so we're going to walk the lane and just chill. No fling for me, Rip. Come on now. He's going to put his W down now that I am ulting, yep. The reason why I'm ulting is just to put DPS on him, try and get him to get off the wave. That's the only reason, really. Oh, shit. Oh, man. The support gank is so unfortunate. Their support did almost as much damage to me as their top laner did, and so no ult Pantheon, no ult Sion. He would have actually done more damage to me if I lived for longer because he had an ignite on me, which is kind of insane. But that's okay. TP into lane here. I will probably lose a plate to Sion here unless he's recalling for tempo. So sometimes they will do that, as they're gonna value their tempo more than the plate, which is fine. I'm going for that plate though. Personally, I like the gold on Singe because Singe doesn't get a lot of kills in the early game, so having that gold is very helpful. This game I do have 2 kills though, so
it's nearly time.
This game is a little bit different. Alright, so I have 770 gold, meaning on next recall I can finish my Leandries as well. We're gonna hit this turret. I have 3 grubs, so I can sort of just ignore him here, fling him away, and then go for the wave here. I'm gonna ward over the wall, see if Graves' camp is there. The camp is down. Sion will try and fight me here though, knowing that I'm chunked out. So I have to try to fling him away or just ignore him as well to try and get the cannon. Do not let him charge the full Q, just space him out. We have the wave, we have Leandries on recall, so we're going to recall now. And I'm going to recall down here this time because I know that he likes to stop me in the river. So we're gonna get this recall. My quest points are looking pretty okay. And I have full Leandries now, meaning that my damage is a lot higher on him. It's not gonna, like... I probably don't have enough to kill him, but I have enough to threaten him from chasing me, which is good.
On my way.
Potentially look for an all-in on him as well when we're back in lane. We'll see how this goes. Yeah, he gets a plate on me, not that big of a deal. I'm a plate ahead, I'm a kill ahead as well. 2 kills ahead, the Pantheon stole one from him. Now here, it is possible that he proxies me, but I think he's scared to proxy me, so yeah, he is. Pop the R here because I'm gonna expect him to reverse all in, which he is. I actually break his shield. Just keep fighting him here, keep him trapped in poison. This is not going very well for you, Scion. Nice, so we've chunked him out very hard, meaning that's hard for him to proxy without getting insta-killed by my team. Then we can look for either our own proxy or look for plants in the river. The minions are moving a little bit fast, we'll probably look for plants in the river. Now I have a huge health advantage over him after that fight. He's gonna recall, meaning that he's either gonna burn his TP, which is what he's doing, or he's going to just ult back to lane. So we know he's TPing back in. My goal here is to just fling him out with a Goofling. He has a big shield from his quest. And the reason why his quest is done before mine, even though I have 2 kills, is because he is just standing in lane AFKing. That's why it's so important to like be in lane whenever you're recalling during proxy, because you get a lot of points that you otherwise wouldn't get, right? So even though I have a ton of CS, I have more kills than him, I have more plates than him. He does get his quest first because he's just standing in lane. So be careful where you recall. Like right now, I really shouldn't be standing in the jungle, but I kind of have to because the map is dark and I don't know where anyone is. If I knew where people were, I'd just stand in lane and do this, but it's very dangerous for me because I don't know where anyone is, so we're going to be a little bit safer here. And either way, I'll have my quest done after this next wave, so we should be hopefully mostly okay. I think I have it after this wave. Ooh, wait a little bit more. Okay, that's fine. The Scion is walking at me. We're just gonna... I'm gonna hold my R here. I'm pretty sure I'm dead. Yeah, unlucky. I'll have my quest done by the time I'm back in lane afterwards, but it sucks to die to their jungler or their support. I am gonna grab the Merc Treads here, I think, even though they have a pretty AD stacked team. I think it's gonna be the better boots here. Because my main concern in this game is the Veigar. Nice, well done. Twisted Fate having a targeted gold card as well is annoying, but Scion will get some plates on my turret finally. But I'll probably go item number 2 Protoplasm this game. And I think that'll let me survive, and then we'll go like Rallies later if I need to for the slow. But I have to just live. I am like the main frontline for my team. The rest of my team, like, I do have some melee champions. Oh, I actually see the Graves behind my turret. Farming my camps. Oh, my Silas stole the Twisted Fate ult. That's how I saw him. And the wave clear of the item is actually kind of insane. He is so tanky, by the way. Holy shit. The wave clear on that tank item is so silly. Is he all in me? I'm not sure. I have to ult here because he's just walking at me. I'm kind of nervous. Maybe their jungler is coming. Their support is coming, actually, so I'm going to keep running now. I have flash if I need to flash out. I think I'm fine, though. They kill me through the Senna ult as well. Wow, okay. Scion chased me for 35 seconds, and did 2,000 damage. The Pantheon looked at me for 1 second and did 650. Less than a second he looked at me, actually. He looked at me for like 0.1. Oh well. My team is performing well across the map, so I'm not going to complain too much. It is a game that does look pretty good for me, so... And sometimes this happens, right? It's actually good this is happening for the example game, because you will a lot of time just get camped by their jungler, or their support. In this case, their support. And knowing how to deal with that is very important. I dealt with it kind of badly this game, actually. I should have been in the lane more. I should have been more cognizant of the dark map. But that being said, for the value that Pantheon's getting on me, my team is getting double the value across the map. So, like, if I wasn't doing what I was doing, we might not be that far ahead, right? It's a give and take. Like, in a vacuum, I could have played better, but the effect of my gameplay here is pretty good. Better than if I had played quote-unquote properly, I guess, so. Because if I was playing properly, he wouldn't have even gone for me. He would have just kept farming my bot lane, which we don't want that. We don't want our bot lane to die. We want our bot lane to live. Because as the top laner, I will eventually get levels and resources no matter what. You cannot say the same thing about your bot lane, because your bot lane is probably getting one-shot, and your bot lane cannot side lane. And side laning is how you get the most resources later on to the game, so bot lane needs to be, like, pretty stable in the early mid-game to get the resources, whereas with top lane, as long as my team is doing okay, I'm usually okay. If my team's doing badly, though, I'm kind of screwed. The life of a top laner. Almost caught up in level as well, which is really good.
It's nearly time.
And my TP bottom here? I think that fight is cooked, though. Yeah, it's cooked. He's going for the wave clear.
An ally has been slain.
He's gonna walk at me here, looks like, try and stop my proxy. Oh, no, he's not. Okay.
An enemy has
And
been
now,
slain.
knowing that dragon is spawning, I'm gonna reset here and then look to TP in a dragon. Because once I TP with my quest, I'll have a big, big shield to use as well. My team's not walking over there, so I'm just gonna leave it, actually. I would go, but if they're not going, I can't go.
Turret has been destroyed.
Because I can't TP in there by myself, right? You know what I mean? There's no wards there. Okay, team is going now. I'm looking for a teleport opportunity. Okay, there's some TPing in. They get dragon right. TF ults in, grab him. Graves trying to run, put him on W. He's dead, very nice. We can pull this Scion as well. He has a massive shield though. He is so fucking tanky. I'm leaving, bro. I'm gonna farm. I am not killing that guy. Not anytime soon. What I will do though is just grab these fruits and then go back to farm top lane here. You want to spread your advantage across the map. You don't want to all stay in one spot after you get a good team fight. Unless you're looking to get like a turret or end the game. Or go for Baron or Dragon or something like that, right? What you tend to want to do is spread across the map and maximize your resources by getting as much as you can everywhere else. So always think right after a fight, can I lead? Can I get more? Can I get more without throwing the game? Ooh, they are just fighting over here, that's odd. I don't like this. Yeah, I want to leave now. I want to get this next wave. I got 2 turret plates. I got a lot of minions. Get a good team fight off. Can I just take this turret? Where's the Scion? I don't know where he is. I guess we're getting the turret too. Very nice. Grab this ward. I think I have one more. Nice. Scion's here. I'm going to reset. I could go for the next wave as well. I just don't know what they're like. So he has vision of me right now. He actually warded the Fate Light so he knows where I am. But I don't have to worry about my tower there, because it's already gone, so we'll take a recall here. Get the Protoplasm. And then just jog. My team is ganking top lane, so we will just jog. Holy shit, Rengar damage, okay. Clean bush control. I'm walking in. I'm looking for the Graves. I have Flash Fling. I don't have Flash Fling anymore. I have it now. Come here, rat. I have Harness. Can you beat me? I don't think so. Bye. We run him down. I go back around and try and get these guys. The Scion in the bush. I see him. He's W'd. Oh no! He killed my Rengar. He got him with the massive grasp auto. You hate to see it, man. I did not think he would live that long, but he sure did.
An enemy has been slain.
My mid laner was pushing their bot lane tier 2 and got a plate on tier 3 as well. That's really good. Because we actually aced them 4v5, meaning he got a lot of gold from his play as well. So TF's ulting mid, I should be good to recall. You're just dead. Damn, unfortunate. Okay. I could just go Zonya's here instead of Rylai's because I am getting focused quite hard. Like I said, I have to eventually duel the Graves as well in these team fights, and he's going to be doing a lot of damage if I don't have armor. Zhonya's plus Proto is just really good as well, so we'll do that. Big Silent Assault, nice.
On my way.
Stop them from engaging on my Senna here probably, but I just don't know if they are. I want to yoink this blue up, but it's probably better that he gets it. He needs mana more than me right now. The buff that you want on Singed is actually the red buff usually. I'm going to leave that ward and just go for this wave. I have teleport in 6 seconds. I'm watching for the cross map here. Okay, Sion's back in top. That wasn't gonna die. There's a fresh ward here, so they know where I am. I'm gonna be careful. Okay, I see a TP opportunity here potentially. Looks like my team is one-shots their whole team though.
Ally has been slain.
I want to prevent Sion from teleporting out, so we're just gonna save our W and just fight him here.
Your team has
Oh, my
destroyed
jungler or my mid laner. Oh no, you should hit the turret, bro. You have no HP. I don't know if I can save. I think Sion might kill you here, actually. We lack the sustain on you, bro. Just run, just run, just run. Okay, I gotta get out too. My harness is popped there. Yeah, my harness is popped. Okay, time to leave. Not a big fan of that fight, but my team should be able to get Dragon now. That Graves showed top. They're having a, if I didn't take 3-4 turret drops, I could have probably done more there. Ahead of the Sion as well now in terms of my level. There's his 16.
On my way.
My team did not get Dragon yet, Rip. Okay. I have to be a little bit careful here. Ult in 30 though is good for me. I'm just gonna cross snap so Sion can't TP out. I'm a TP here. I'm probably gonna get a Veigar stun. I'll pop this Zhonya's here. And then run. Okay, rough TP, but oh hey, it worked out. Sometimes the best play is a distraction. Nice, there we go. Very good, very decent. My team is fighting over there. I'm too low to help, so I'm just gonna farm these minions and then walk away. It's going well for them anyway, so again, maximize your advantages across the map. If I have to fight there, I wouldn't be able to. I have to be careful not to get my ultimate popped by these, or my protoplasm popped by these minions right now. Like, you could say I could maybe have gone in there to help out, because I had protoplasm up, but it's hard, right? When you're that low. This dragon is up. I would like to grab that. We're gonna sell D-ring for
On my way.
needlessly.
Page.
He's gonna do dragon in here. Should be fine. The enemy jungler is dead. I do not have teleports. I kind of want to be topside here. You know, my team, the rest of my teammates have 2 teleports up. They have Celis and they have Brand TPs. So I am down to force Baron here as well. Celis in a cross map with his TP as well.
It's nearly time.
If I had to Rylai's, I would just trap this Sion in my Rylai's and let my team come up and gank him or force his ultimate out, but they do want to gank him, actually. We'll see how this goes then. Ooh, someone in the river, I see Pantheon here. Oh, I'm chasing you, bro. Level 17 Singed, level 12 Pantheon. Let's see what happens. Apparently he wins? I have Protoplasm, but like, come on, what is that shit? Okay. Can someone explain to me why level 17 Singed is losing a 1v1 to a level 12 Pantheon? Okay, Riot Games. Support, by the way, support, need support. I would have probably won eventually because of Protoplasm, but like, that's insane. Okay, we're just gonna look for the Baron here. trying to minimize my auto attacks taking because I don't want to get my protoplasm harness pop. Let's go. Very big.
Double kill.
On my
I'm
way.
gonna just shove this and crash the wave if I need to, which I probably will. Scions in mid, they have 3 dead. And we have Baron as well, so I can actually go for the turret play potentially here, but it's a little dangerous with this low of HP, so we'll just recall. Grab the Zhonya's, and then I'm going to probably look for, not Riftmaker, Bloodletter or Rylai's. I'm not sure which one yet since they're over Ruby Crystal, but Bloodletter and Rylai's are both very, very good here. I'd say Bloodletter may be a little bit better at this stage of the game, but not by much. Rylai's is cheaper. We've got stuff for that. Well, that's not great. We lose Baron tempo on 2 people, unfortunately, there, but I'll look for some turret plates here. Getting ganked here pretty hard. I have Conqueror's actually. I think TF's dead. Yeah, he's dead. Peace. Whoa! Dodge the turret shot with Zhonya's. Flash. See ya! What is that, a 1v3 outplay? 1v4 outplay? We had Twisted Fate, we had Veigar, Scion, and Graves. We had 4 people. I got the assist on Veigar, actually. Yeah, 1v4 outplay. Very big. Grab this turret. My mid laner is still getting that split push on. W the Pantheon's entrance here. Maybe my Brand will live. We'll see. He does in fact live. Pulling this guy up. Kill him, please. Unlucky for me, but hopefully they can kill this Scion. My Senna's doing some work here. She is doing some work, bro. Look at this support. What is this support? Why are both supports just carrying by themselves? Funny game. She might have done more damage than me just in this whole game. That's crazy. Alright, nice. Good kills for the team. I'll TP and help end the game here if I need to. I could also hold it potentially, but I think it's TP and help. Get the Nexus, boys. I have ult as well, so let's go for this. I think we are good to go, though. Golden Singe. Bang. GG. GG. So thankfully we did end up having a pretty good example of proxying that game. It wasn't like a super perfect clean example, but your games are also not going to be very perfect and clean. So that being said, guys, thank you guys for watching. I hope you appreciated this proxy guide. Let me know if there's anything else that you want to see. I'll be uploading a similar style video to this, doing a full singed guide as well. But that being said, appreciate you guys one more time. Catch you next one. Later, guys.